Welcome back, and if you're new, welcome. I'm Otti, and I'm on a journey to achieve my best physical and mental health, and I love to share what I learn along the way with you. This week, I've tried the viral Dr. Huberman's morning routine. I will explain you all the steps and share how it worked for me. For those of you who may not know who Andrew Huberman is, he's a neuroscientist and a professor in neurobiology at Stanford School of Medicine, and is most famous for his podcast, The Huberman Lab.
Welcome to the Huberman Lab podcast, where we discuss science and science-based tools for everyday life.
So let's start from the beginning. Dr. Huberman wakes up every day between 6 and 6:30 a.m. Even if you don't want to follow his routine, waking up early gives you a competitive advantage because you can gain a few extra hours to work on whatever you want. You can use them to meditate, do your makeup, workout, work, whatever feels right for you. And I've noticed that every time I start my day a little bit earlier, I started with a sense of calmness and clear intention. You don't have to start your day at 6 a.m. if that sounds too drastic for you. Even if you set your alarm just 15 minutes earlier than usual, you will notice such a difference in how you feel if you use those 15 minutes to take care of yourself. The second step in his routine is getting in his electrolytes. Like him, I've been using Element for a couple of months, and I love them. Comment down below your favorite flavor if you've ever tried them. Mine is definitely mango chili. If you don't want to buy fancy electrolytes, you can also add a pinch of salt into a glass of water, and that would work just fine. The only thing is that the flavor isn't gonna be there. I always thought that only athletes needed electrolytes, so I never really looked into it, but apparently we could all benefit from consuming them. Why do we need them? They are important for several functions in the human body, such as proper nerve and muscle function, maintaining fluid balance, regulating blood pressure, bone health, and even blood glucose control.
The single best thing you can do for your sleep, your energy, your mood, your wakefulness, your metabolism is to get natural light in your eyes early in the day.
So the rules are direct exposure to sunlight, meaning not through a window or sunglasses. Prescription glasses are fine. 10 minutes if the weather is sunny, and if it's cloudy or overcast, 30 minutes. If right now you live in a place where the sun comes out later in the day, or you just wake up before the sunrise, that's totally fine. Turn on all artificial lights and then go outside as soon as the sun is out. I struggled a little bit to make this step work for me. I tried to go on a walk right away after I woke up, stood in the balcony looking at sunlight, or I also went to the gym earlier in the morning and used the walk to the gym as my exposure to sunlight. I think the most important thing is to stay flexible when you're figuring out your morning routine. Better to have a routine that you follow as well as you can every day, most days, than to follow it perfectly every now and then. Next step for Dr. Huberman is consuming his greens. There are a lot of different green powders. They've become very popular. The one that he consumes is AG1. I just got the one that I found at my grocery store from Tropica. It tasted really, really good. That's the only thing I have to say. It's the first one I try, so I don't have anything to compare it with, but I checked on AG1 website. The ingredients are very similar. What I've understood of all these green powders, it's that they are basically multivitamins with a good source of fiber. I think that's great, and if you feel like you don't consume enough during your day, it could be an option. Or you could get in the same amount of nutrients if you had a well-balanced whole food diet. The next step is a cognitive challenge. It is usually 90 minutes of deep work, leaving his phone outside of the room to have no distractions. He goes as far as to say that he doesn't even allow himself to go to the bathroom in those 90 minutes. I certainly did. But it was a good way to start my day, and definitely putting your phone on airplane mode makes a huge difference. Use this time to research for YouTube videos or to edit, and got a lot done this way. So this is something I definitely will keep up with. I have to say the only thing, sometimes the cognitive challenge came after the physical one, just because if my sunlight exposure was going to the gym, then I obviously would do my workout at the gym, come back, and then do the cognitive challenge. But I did both every day. It's just I sometimes switch them up in order. Step number 6, delaying caffeine for the first 90 to 120 minutes after he wakes up. And he says this helps with alertness and also to avoid the afternoon crash. Let me explain the science behind it, because I studied up to understand it, even though I'm not an addict when it comes to caffeine, but I thought it was really interesting. So basically, we have a chemical in our body called adenosine that builds up during the day, and it's what makes us feel fatigued, and our body gets rid of it while we sleep. When we wake up, we still are getting rid of all the remaining adenosine in our body, and if we consume caffeine right away, caffeine has the ability to block the adenosine receptor, which makes us feel more alert. But once the caffeine effect wears off, the adenosine that is still in the body binds with its receptor, so we crash and feel very sleepy in the middle of the day. But he says that if we wait between 90 and 120 minutes to consume any caffeinated drink, we can avoid this effect. The physical challenge. He weight trains 45 to 1 hour every other day, and on the days that he's off, does some form of cardio. So he either jogs, skips rope, racking, sometimes he says he swims. This step is pretty obvious. We all know there are many benefits to exercising and moving our body, but if you've missed the memo, exercise helps regulate blood sugar, improve immunity, balance hormones levels, either increase energy levels or provide a sense of relaxation. It definitely makes sense that it's part of his morning routine, but it doesn't need to be strictly part of your morning routine. You can work out whenever works best for you, as long as you're being healthy and finding ways you enjoy to move your body. You don't have to stick to a specific time or specific kind of exercise. Deliberate cold exposure. This step was actually a lot of fun for me. It doesn't say exactly at what time of the routine he practices this, but I guess the time that makes the most sense to me would be after a workout. He suggests a minimum total of 11 minutes per week, which can be divided in 1 to 5 minute sessions across the week. The benefits of this practice are increased energy and focus. We're getting a bit scientific right now. Cold exposures causes a significant release of epinephrine, aka adrenaline, and norepinephrine, aka noradrenaline, in the brain and body, and makes us feel alert. And their ongoing effect after the exposure is to increase our level of energy and focus. It builds resilience. By forcing yourself to endure cold exposure every morning, you're practicing resilience. And last but definitely not least, it enhances your mood. It causes a prolonged release of dopamine, which is a molecule capable of elevating our mood. I thought this would be the hardest step for me, but I actually quite enjoyed it. And of course, a cold shower is not gonna be as cold as an ice bath, but Dr. Huberman says that there is no set number for how cold the water is supposed to be, just that the water temperature should be uncomfortably cold, yet safe to stay in for a few minutes. And then we arrived to the end of his morning routine with his first meal, which he usually consumes around 11 or 12 because he fasts. This was the step that I least liked.
Flashback.
So far, the thing that I hate the most is the fasting. And I'm so excited that I don't have to do it anymore. Even though there are a lot of benefits, for me, I know it's a trigger and it results in overeating, so I don't love it. I did it for the video. It was fine for a week. It's just not something that I will keep implementing in my daily routine. What did I learn from this routine? I learned lots about how our bodies work, and it was so much fun to dive deep and research and really understanding why he created this protocol. Did I enjoy it? Some parts more than others. Fasting was definitely not my thing. Early morning sunrise exposure was an adjustment. It took me some tweaking to figure out how it could work for me. I really loved the cold exposures, and I'm still doing it pretty much every day. The effects on my mood are definitely something that I've noticed. If you are feeling low, get yourself into a cold shower and you're gonna get out of it much happier. Will I keep it up? Not 100%. I will incorporate some parts of it in my existing morning routine. Others are gonna be part of my daily/weekly routine, and some I will just let go. Would I recommend you try it? 100% yes. Dr. Huberman is a scientist. He knows what he's talking about, and it's definitely something that you can challenge yourself with and be even healthier, because I'm sure if you're following this channel, you're someone who enjoys being healthy and active. I hope this video inspires you to try something new or do something good for your health. And if it does, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe if you're not already part of the community. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.